Right now, everyone's telling you to start a business to escape a broken system. But if we continue to push for fast-growing, short-sighted businesses that chase freedom for the founder so they can sip mojitos on a beach somewhere exotic, or just profit for the sake of it, we're just recreating the same mess in a new package. Overworked founders with fragile teams won't fix the economy, and neither will an individualistic view that isolates people and drives them to keep chasing more, not out of vision, but out of a lack of self-worth. We just have to look at the data. A 2024 study found that over half of startup founders are burnt out and 85% report high stress. So no, we don't need more entrepreneurs. We need better ones. People who want to use the money they earn as a tool to change industries. People, or missionaries, who have a vision and lead with decisiveness and clarity, not guesswork. And people who want to build businesses that actually make the world better, not just their bank accounts. But here's the part that no one tells you. You don't have to quit your job to start thinking this way, to become conscious. This video isn't to sell you a dream, it's here to give you a mindset shift that helps you to make better and more informed decisions about your career and life. What's really going on? Let's start with the real reason this conversation matters right now. The UK economy is in chaos, much like the rest of the world. Living costs are up, wages are stagnating, entire industries are being uprooted by fast-moving AI, and layoffs are happening across the board. And when people see the system crumbling, they run for the exit. Right now, is that exit entrepreneurship in the online narrative? I think so. But launching a business with no clarity or structure isn't freedom. It's hard work and asks you to take a huge level of risk. So instead of thinking, how do I escape or how do I become rich, we need to shift our thinking to how do I provide value. The only thing in our control are A, our thoughts and actions, and B, the impact we choose to make on others. So by empowering yourself, you'll create a more uplifting future, which in turn has a positive impact on other people. What does thinking like a conscious founder mean? This shift starts by understanding that real entrepreneurship is about creating change. Making money is just a byproduct. That's why the conscious founder mindset matters, whether you're running a business or not. It's about committing to clarity, to alignment, and making intentional decisions. Becoming intentional is key. It has to come out of an awareness, not just autopilot. When you become conscious of your patterns and your programming, you stop repeating the same mistakes. You stop building from fear or from your ego, and you start to build something that actually moves you forward. Conscious founders ask themselves, am I building towards something I truly believe in? Do I actually want to help this customer or this market? Can this business support my life, or will it drain it? Am I setting this up to succeed without burning myself out? Is the world actually better with this business in it? That is the key question. Now, these aren't questions most people are taught to ask, but there's a cost if you're going to skip them. Right now, I'm looking to acquire a company that's doing about £600,000 in sales after its second year. It's got a solid network built by a great founder, but there's an issue. They didn't run the numbers to ensure at what stage the business can support their own lifestyle. So despite all of that progress, they've nearly bankrupted the company by taking too much money out prematurely. It's a failure of awareness and understanding. Conscious founders will think long term. They'll think holistically. And we aren't afraid to ask hard questions. So if you've got this far into the video and you're ready to take control of your situation, here is the conscious founder framework. Number 1, mindset. Redefine what success means to you. Most of us grow up thinking success is how much you earn, but real success is how you feel while you're earning it. Real success is about a direction. It's not just about money, it's about alignment, fulfillment, doing work that actually means something to you. I had to do this myself. I had to redefine it myself years ago. The success of my business, that's just a credibility piece so I can almost show off on camera. My real mission is to change the education system, the most important system we have, and the one that has been corrupted the most, but it's the one that has the ability to raise society up. So ask yourself, what does success look or feel like to me? Make a decision. The answer to that question is your North Star. Purpose. Get clear on what brings you fulfillment in your life. You don't need a 10-year plan, but you do need a compass. Start by noticing what drains you versus what gives you energy. Because if your work is draining, you can't possibly show up at your best. It means you're not meant to be doing it. For me, I realized I had a deep love for money, for business, psychology, and spirituality. But the real spark came when I started teaching it. I've coached over 50 of my staff on the principles I was learning. That process of learning and sharing, that transformed my team. And what that allowed them to do was to perform at a much higher level. And that allowed us to hire managers, which freed up the business to scale without me. So your purpose is closer than you think. You've just got to pay attention and ask yourself better questions. How do I help more people, or how do I help people more? Problem solving. Build with intention. Before you start something new, ask, does this solve a real life problem? Conscious founders focus on solving problems, not doing things because of a trend or because someone else has told you to. And when you orient your consciousness around providing value to others, trust me, the ideas are going to flow much more freely. I remember reading one of Branson's books, Richard Branson, and he said, don't just build a business, build it to change the industry. That stuck with me. Changing the industry. See, conscious founders who bring impact focus on providing value over tick box exercises. I can almost guarantee that when you start to focus on where and how you can add value, you'll almost unblock yourself. The ideas will just start to flow. Not only that, you're going to position yourself as someone of value. And these are the people opportunities flow to. Systems. Optimize for the long game. Being reactionary is costing you in every area of your life. Don't just react to fires when they happen. It's like the whack-a-mole game. Start putting systems in place. Create routines in your calendar. Set up a budget for your finances. Put disciplines in place for your health. And over time, these will solidify habits. And that creates space and reduces chaos. Discipline sets you free. In the words of the Greek philosopher Aristotle, we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence then is not an act, but a habit. You see, discipline is your way out. It's your way to a more prosperous life. That is why I always say discipline sets you free. Leadership. Lead with care. You see, leadership isn't about telling people what to do. We all have this narrative wrong. It's about showing people what to do, leading by example. And that can only come by managing yourself first. Your mindset, your energy, your values, your actions, they all bleed into your business, and you've got people watching. One of the biggest differentiators I've seen between early stage founders and experienced leaders is this: the ability to think. They discern, they analyze, they see clearly. And that's why I started learning NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. It helped me understand how people think, how we form beliefs, and why we behave the way we do. After learning it, it changed how I lead. Because if you want to build high-performing teams, learning how people operate is key. But the key to it, first of all, is learning how you operate. To learn about others, we must first learn about self. See, everything is a mirror reflecting back to you. Because when you lead from that level of self-knowledge and clarity, you don't just manage people, you inspire them. You see yourself in the other, and you start to see the other person's point of view. Clarity. Measure what actually matters. You see, it's easy to chase metrics that look good. What we call vanity metrics, like how much money is coming in, for example. But what's the point if it dresses things up and doesn't actually impact you or the people around you? Real clarity comes from measuring things that matter, what I call sanity metrics. Like how much money of the money that is coming in do you actually save for a rainy day? Or do you invest for your future? Or do you donate to a worthy cause? Put it into practice. So let's bring this to life. Because you might be wondering, what does a better entrepreneur actually look like? Look at companies like Amazon versus companies like Tony's Chocolonely. Amazon prioritized scale and speed, but with that came high employee turnover and intense pressure and not much regard for long-term well-being. Tony's Chocolonely, on the other hand, they set out to build a chocolate company on a mission, ending slavery in the cocoa industry. They grew because of their values, not in spite of them. It's the difference between two mindsets. The old narrative is growth at all costs, the founder is the hero, burnout disguised as hustle, people treated as costs, not assets, versus the new narrative that I'm trying to push. Sustainable growth, rooted in values, founders who design constructive systems, not destructive ones, jobs that empower people and help them build great lives, wealth creation that uplifts communities, not just the business itself. This isn't about what you build, it's about how you build it and who benefits along the way. See, the world doesn't need more ideas. It needs people bold enough to act on them and conscious enough to do it with care. Because every founder that burns out, every company that scales without a soul, it doesn't just cost that one person. It costs the people they could have helped, the jobs they could have created, the impact they could have made. But this isn't just about business. The parent who builds a calm and empowering home, that's leadership. The teacher who empowers their pupils by giving them self-confidence or teaching a little bit of financial literacy, that's innovation. The employee who sees a broken process and builds something better, that's a form of entrepreneurship in action, or what I like to call entrepreneurship. So you don't need to quit your job to be part of the solution. You just need to show up in your work, whatever it is, with a conscious mindset and be a force for good. When you do, you don't just change your own life, you start to change the culture around you. Because the world doesn't just need founders, it needs founders of ideas, of movements, of systems, of communities, people like you.